Living Local Carolina with Katie Turner. Local trends, shopping, dining, and more. This is Living Local Carolina.
This story is sponsored by Belfour Property Restoration. Well, thanks so much for joining us today again on Living Local Carolina. Today I'm in the studio joined by Wynn. How are you doing, Wynn?
Doing amazing. Why would I choose otherwise?
Oh, I love that, love that. Now, you've got a story to tell, Wynn.
Yes.
You were able to use Belfour Property Restoration to help you out of a pretty precarious situation.
Absolutely. I was outside talking to a neighbor of mine, and when I returned into the house, my son came up to me at the door and he said, "Mom, it's raining in the hallway."
Something you don't want to hear.
You do not want to hear those words. I said, "Raining in the hallway? What do you mean?" Sure enough, I went into our hallway and there was water just coming down through the ceiling of the hallway, into the hall, into the bedroom, into my office. It was not a fun afternoon.
No, not at all. But thankfully you were able to call Belfour Property Restoration.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
love Belfour, but how was that process for you?
It was wonderful. I picked up the phone, gave a call. They came out immediately, checked out what was causing it, and got everything to stop. That was #1 priority. And then walked me through what was going to happen next, including having to lift carpets and dry things out, looking at the floor. But peace of mind from moment one. I mean, when they showed up at the door, I was like, okay, they're in charge, they know what they're doing, and I just took a big sigh of relief. It was good.
Yeah. It takes kind of the burden off of you.
Absolutely, because we were in panic.
I can imagine why.
Water tends to run, and so as it hit the floor, I mean, it just was just running, and you could see it beginning to just buckle pieces of the flooring, and I thought, will it ever stop? Because it's going underneath it, but you could tell where it was headed. So it was very frightening for us, but they didn't bat an eye at it.
Of course.
They just knew.
So once they were actually to get the water to stop running, what happened after that? Because you had got to get that dried out as soon as possible.
Yeah. So like I say, on the first day, they brought in the drying equipment and pulled up as much of carpet as was needed to be pulled up. They didn't have to pull it all out. So it was just kind of lifting it, being able to dry underneath it. And then I think within another day, they were there actually taking out the floor. We had some glue down hardwoods. We also had some vinyl plank in there, and they were just in moving furniture, moving stuff out. They got us really clean so that we could live while we were picking out what we wanted. Hey, take advantage of it. It's an upgrade, So we were able to then visit the showroom and sit down with folks there and talk about what we wanted, what would look good, get it ordered. It came in without a problem, which was amazing. And then they were back on time, scheduled, told us when they'd be there, kept us updated on the ordering and when things would show up. And I think that was the best for us, because just as we would start worrying, what about, have they, is this, then we would get a phone call or an email communication, and we were like, oh, okay, they got it.
Exactly. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah, yes.
That's awesome. Now, tell me, how do you feel from the day that you had the incident happen, all that rain in your in your home, versus how you feel now?
Oh my gosh, well, we just love them because everything settled right back out. What was moved out of the way was moved right back where it belonged. It was just carefree. And of course, now we love our floors. Oh my gosh, everybody who comes over, oh, I love your floors, where'd you get them done? I said, well, I don't recommend a rainstorm in your house, but I do recommend Belfour.
Love it.
I'll tell you what I thought about. Belfour looks like big business. And in our home, our leak, that was big business to us. But we knew our big business was really little business. But you know what? They made us feel like our little business was their most important piece of business. And I wouldn't trade that for the world.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina.
Welcome back to Living Local Carolina. We got a hot topic today. Hot and cold, how to keep dogs nice and cool,
yes,
or warm and toasty.
That's right.
Joyelle, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Katie.
Thank you for stopping by today.
Yes.
Give me some tips.
Sure. So right now, as you know, we are in a heat wave. So it's very, very hot for our dogs. So primarily, you need to pay attention to how hot the ground is. When the temperature is around 80 degrees, your asphalt is about 115.
Not fun.
Not fun at all. So what that actually can do is to burn blisters on the bottoms of your dog's feet. So it's very, very important. Top of the line, you need to make sure it's not too hot. Unfortunately, I see people walking their dogs in the heat of the day all the time. And I continue to say, it is too hot outside, what are you doing? So it's really, really important because those blisters, it just creates very much blisters on the bottoms of their feet, and it can really damage their feet. So really be mindful of that. Walk in the earlier morning times or in the later evening times, okay? Also provide enough water. So if you have outside dogs, which I don't recommend having dogs in the heat of the day outside, but if it's not possible, make sure you provide them enough shade and you bring them in when you're able, provide enough water for them. Now, going to cold. So it's really important, again, to take care of your dog's feet. Lots of times people throw out the ice melt or the salt to help prevent any slipping and sliding. That also can damage your paw's feet as well because it gets into their paws and then they'll lick it and it contains all those chemicals that are dangerous for dogs. So it's really important that you wipe their feet off, clean them off. Again, providing enough water and enough food for them. If it's super cold outside, bring them inside or in a warm area. If they happen to be outside, provide a home for them that's a little bit raised up off the ground. Put some shavings or something like that in there so they're not laying directly on the ground. It's very, very important.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Shedding. And do you have any tips? Because I've heard that it's not good to shave dogs.
Sure.
Because it messes up their coats. Is that true?
Oh, so I would definitely say talk to your groomer about that, but there are tools that you can use. There's like a de-shedder. It's really important because you need to at least brush your dog to get all of the excess hair off of them, especially during the winter months. They're going to blow their coat anyway.
Well, welcome back to Living Local Carolina. Today I'm joined by Quadre Stuckey. We're talking about beautiful, beautiful artwork with a rich cultural heritage. How are you doing?
I'm amazing. I'm blessed. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me today.
We're going to do a lot of fun stuff, but first I want to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
I want you to kind of walk me through your creative process when it comes to this.
So when it comes to my creative process with the artwork, I like to visualize what I'm going to do first in my mind, and then I like to, draw it and sketch it on the canvas. And then once I sketch it on the canvas, I like to add that paint to bring it to life.
And you have quite a history.
Yes.
Why did you get into art in the first place?
I would say art is like my God-given talent. It wasn't something I had to try hard with. It was something that would naturally come to me that just kind of flows easy. So I wanted to use that and share my gift with the world.
I would say that when you look at your art, I was taking a look at your portfolio, and a lot of it is so striking.
Yes.
You have such a unique look.
Yes.
How would you describe your art, though?
I mean, I would describe my art as kind of like a mixture between like contemporary pop art and then low country Gullah lifestyle series. That's what I say, because that's our history and rich culture in Charleston, South Carolina, where I'm from. So it's about that Gullah lifestyle, maintaining the culture and the heritage. So I'm just telling the story through my artwork.
Why is that important to you?
I feel like it's important because if you don't tell your own story, somebody else will tell your story and control your narrative. So it's better for you to keep your own history and pass it down to the generations to come, like your grandkids, your great-grandkids, and your children, to let them know where they came from and what you did to make it here where you're at today.
And how does it feel whenever people see your art for the first time?
It feels amazing because, with artwork, it speaks to everybody different. You know what I'm saying? People get happy, people get excited, people get, filled with joy. So I mean, me inside, that's just a good heartwarming feeling that I feel every time that people see it, experience it, and then they just love it and fall in love with it.
And what would you say is the toughest part of the process for you?
The toughest part of the process was, I'd probably say, selling it, because, these are like my kids, and then somebody wants to buy it, you gotta let it go and then not look back. But, at the same time, I could just paint another one.
And speaking of, If someone is interested in purchasing your art or taking a look,
Yes.
how can they do that?
Well, they could go online to my website, www.quaddesigns.net, or they could go onto my nonprofit site, www.gullah-Geechee-Family-Foundation.com, purchase the artwork.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Quadre. I appreciate you visiting me today.
Definitely.
We'll be back right after this break with more Living Local Carolina. This story is sponsored by Horry County Solid Waste Authority. This story is sponsored by Horry County Solid Waste Authority. Don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. How to use the QR code. Just open the camera app on your smartphone, iPad, or tablet. Point your device at the QR code so the QR code appears on your screen. Your device will recognize the QR code and show you a notification. Click that notification and you'll come to our website. Living Local Carolina, weekday mornings at 9:30 on WBTW News 13.